In this Diablo 2 Resurrected build guide, we're going to be covering the Hammerdin Paladin Build. This is an End Game Paladin build which is very popular among players because it excels in almost all categories with very few drawbacks. If you're looking for the ultimate Paladin build, then this Hammerdin build guide is for you. While playing the Hammerdin in Diablo 2 Resurrected, you'll quickly teleport to your enemies and spam the Blessed Hammer combat skill. This skill invokes a hammer that spins around the Paladin, dealing massive damage to all enemies it comes in contact with, killing enemies very quickly in large groups. The damage output for each hammer can easily go from 12k to 15k damage, which is huge. You'll be able to quickly clear most enemies even at slash players 8 with ease. Using the Teleportation Skill combined with max faster cast rate allows you to move through the map at immense speeds, and this is granted to you by the Enigma Runeword. If you don't have Enigma, you can instead use the Vigor Defensive Aura to enhance your walking speed. It's important that you walk because your block is greatly reduced while running. While attacking, you need to swap your teleport skill with the Concentration Offensive Aura, as this aura greatly increases the damage dealt by your Blessed Hammer. Note that if you're playing on a controller, you can have both these skills mapped to separate buttons, so this is not necessary. Similar to other Paladin builds in Diablo 2 Resurrected, the Hammerdin is very tanky. Using the Holy Shield skill allows you to reach max block without investing too many points into dexterity, which means you'll have a lot of spare points to invest in vitality. This combines block rate and life, making you really hard to kill. This build can perform any type of run without issues. I personally like to run Chaos Sanctuary because of the large packs of enemies, which provides both great loot and experience. This Diablo 2 Paladin build is intended to be used for Nightmare and Hell difficulties starting around level 40. You can start the game with this build, but I personally recommend you use our Holy Fire build instead and then respec into this one. If you're already playing and want to respec into this build though, the easiest way to do this is by claiming the Den of Evil reward from Arkara at the Rogue Encampment. You'll get 3 respecs, 1 for each difficulty, and you'll need to be on the same difficulty to reclaim them. Like most builds in Diablo 2 Resurrected, our stats distribution will focus on assigning enough points into strength to meet equipment requirements, enough points into dexterity to reach max blocks, and then assigning everything else into vitality to gain as much life as possible. Having a Hellfire Torch and an Annihilus will greatly reduce your stat investment into strength. These unique charms provide between 10 to 20 to all attributes and 10 to 20 to all elemental resistances. Having both in your inventory will save you between 20 and 40 stat points that you can spend into vitality, greatly increasing your health pool. The additional passive resistances will also allow you to depend less on all resistance equipment, opening up more options. If you don't have a Hellfire Torch or an Annihilus yet, I strongly recommend that you get them as soon as you can. Perfect rolled ones are very expensive, but you can get bad rolled ones for very affordable prices. Make sure to get a low roll when you're starting off and then upgrade it when you have enough money. The Hammerdin is designed around 2 main skills, which are the Blessed Hammer combat skill and the Concentration Offensive Aura. You'll use the following skills when playing this Diablo 2 Resurrected Paladin build. Blessed Hammer. The Blessed Hammer skill summons a magical hammer that spirals outwards, damaging enemies along its path, with undead enemies taking 150% damage. The hammer spins around you, making a wider and wider turn until it disappears, and multiple enemies can be hit by the same hammer. Because of the spin pattern, positioning is key to effectively use this skill. The teleport skill provided by the Enigma Runeword is the best option, as you can teleport directly upon enemies, assuring the hammer will hit them as soon as it spawns. Concentration. While active, the Concentration Offensive Aura will reduce the chance of your attacks being interrupted and greatly increase your damage by a percentage. The damage increase percentage is halved for the Blessed Hammer. This means that if your concentration ability provides 200% increased damage, it will only increase your Blessed Hammer damage by 100%, but even halved, this is a huge bonus that makes the hammers decimate enemies in seconds. Holy Shield. This skill increases your shield's defense and block chance. Since this provides diminishing returns, the amount of points that you'll need to spend here to acquire max block chance will depend on the amount of plus skills that is provided by your gear. You'll get plus 36% at level 22 Holy Shield, so this might be a good number to do the math on. Simply sum up the amount of plus skills that you'll get from your gear and then subtract that number from 22. So if your equipment provides you plus 10 skills, you do 22 minus 10 equals 12. You'll need to assign 12 points into Holy Shield to acquire max block if you have this many plus skills. Charge. While you won't use this skill for combat, you should assign this to one of your hotkeys and use it to quickly navigate through the map. Holding the shift button and then clicking where you want to go will make your character quickly charge there. Vigor. This aura greatly increases your movement speed, and while you're assigning points here to increase your Blessed Hammer damage by synergies, it's also a great alternative to charge to navigate through the map without having to spend any mana. Redemption. If you're having problems with mana, you can also spend 1 skill point here. This aura purifies bodies and provides you with life and mana in exchange. This is very useful to quickly regenerate your mana and get rid of bodies at the same time, but should not be necessary if you have enough gear. Since this guide is starting at level 40, you'll want to first focus on your Blessed Hammer and Concentration skills, and then work towards completing Vigor and Blessed Aim, as each of them increases your Blessed Hammer magic damage by 14% per level. You should have around 43 skill points at level 40, 39 from levels, and 4 from quests. You should have your skills placed in the following manner. On level 87, you should have 98 skill points to distribute, 86 from levels and 12 from quests, and it should look something like this. When it comes to equipment, your first goal will be trying to achieve 125% faster cast rate. Like most skills in Diablo 2, the Blessed Hammer skill doesn't have a cooldown on its own. Instead, you need to wait for your character to finish the cast animation and then start a new one. The time that your character takes to cast a skill depends on the class. In the case of Paladins, casting each spell without any faster cast rate equipment will require 15 frames. When you equip something that provides faster cast rate, the cast animation time is reduced by a percentage, but unless you are able to reduce the amount of frames required to finish the animation, it won't have a real effect on gameplay. This means when you're trying to reduce your cast time, you'll need to find the faster cast rate percentage breakdowns for each frame drop. As you can see in the table, the Paladin FCR breakpoints are at 9%, 18%, 30%, 48%, 75%, and 125%, meaning that at 125% faster cast rate, your casting animation will only require 9 frames to complete and start a new cast. Even if it doesn't appear to be that relevant, each frame reduced will greatly increase the total amount of hammers that can be cast each second. For this build, we are aiming for the max 125%, but you can also be effective at 75%. Do note that unless you reach the 125% mark, any points above 75% are useless, since you'll be stuck at 10 frames, so min-maxing your equipment will be very important. Don't hesitate to add any FCR ring if you are close to the 125% mark, as doing so will greatly increase your damage output. In order to reach 125%, you'll get 40% from Heart of Oak, 35% from Perfect Spirit, 20% from Mage Fist, 20% from Arachnid Mesh, plus 10% from Crafted Amulet, and you get 125% faster cast rate. If you don't have a Perfect Spirit or you're missing the Amulet, you can equip FCR rings to achieve the 125% faster cast rate. If you're trying to reach 75%, you'll get 40% from Heart of Oak, 20% from Mage Fist, and 20% from Arachnid Mesh, giving you 80% faster cast rate. Using this configuration will open up the shield and amulet slots for anything you want. In this case, I personally suggest Mara's Kaleidoscope for the amulet, and Herald of Zakarum or Spirit, doesn't matter which faster cast rate, for the shield. Our second goal will be to max out our resistances, and finally our third goal will be to either increase our max fire resist if we want to focus on chaos runs, or increase our magic find chance. When you're starting off, you'll obviously have less gear, so here are some cheap rune words and unique items that you can use while you search for better gear. First up are helmets, and the first one is the Lore Rune Word. This helmet provides +1 to all skills as well as 30% lightning resistance, which is perfect for this build. You can farm the runes by completing Nightmare Countess. Uniques. Any helmet that provides plus skills works great here, for example, Tarn Helm, Peasant Crown, or Worm Skull. Moving along to weapons, the one you want to be on the lookout for is the Spirit Rune Word. This rune word provides +2 to all skills and between 25 to 35% faster cast rate. It also increases your defense thanks to faster hit recovery and vitality. The additional mana is also great. Finding a 4-socketed weapon can be a little tricky, but stay on the lookout for crystal swords, long swords, and broadswords. If you happen to play the secret cow level, if you find any unsocketed of these types of weapons, you can get a guaranteed 4 sockets from Larzuk by completing the Siege of Harrogath quest. Moving to shields, you can also use the Spirit Rune Word for a shield. This shield provides +2 to all skills and 25 to 35% faster cast rate. It also provides many defensive stats such as elemental resistances, faster hit recovery, and vitality. If you're having trouble finding a 4-slot shield, just find a Monarch shield and take it to Larzuk after completing the Siege of Harrogath quest. Some Paladin shields may also have 4 slots, so stay on the lookout for those. Or you can use the Ancient's Pledge Rune Word. This shield doesn't provide plus skills, but compensates by granting a huge boost to resistances, allowing you to survive early hell. And lastly, Paladin shields of all rarities. There are many Paladin exclusive shields that come with plus resistances, plus skills, and even 4 sockets to create a Spirit Rune Word. When it comes to armor, the first one you want to use is the Stealth Rune Word. This is by far the best armor that you can get early on. The 25% faster cast rate is nice, while the poison resistance and faster hit recovery provides more survivability. And of course, there are also uniques. Any unique armor with plus skills is also great for this build. for example the Spirit Shroud, Skin of the Viper Magi, Q Hagon's Wisdom, etc. When it comes to gloves, you want to focus on defensive stats such as life and resistances. For the belt, you want something with life and resistances. You'll want to search for faster run walk speed on your boots as well as resistances and life. You'll want to search for rings that have life, stats, and resistances as well as faster cast rate. Try to find an amulet that provides stats, health, resistances, or plus paladin skills. For charms, you'll mainly want to look for plus life, plus mana, and plus paladin skills or combat skills. Once you are reaching max level, you'll want to start searching for the following equipment to complete your character. First up is helmets, and the first helmet you want to look for is Harlequin Crest, which is a unique. This option is cheap and focuses on increasing our damage. The +2 to all skills is great for our damage output, and the extra life, mana, and the damage reductions it provides helps with survivability. You can insert a perfect topaz for even more magic find. The second option is Crown of Ages unique. If you can afford a Crown of Ages with 2 slots and 2 bear runes, then this helmet will greatly increase your survivability. The Crown of Ages can reduce damage by 15%, and each bear rune will increase that amount by another 8%. A perfect Crown of Ages with 15% damage reduction and 2 bear runes will provide 31% damage reduction, making you really hard to kill. For your weapon, you want to use the Heart of Oak Runeword. This is the best weapon for this build, and there is nothing else I would recommend here. It gives you 40% faster cast rate, which is perfect for our build, and a massive flat FCR bonus. It also gives +3 to all skills, greatly increasing our damage output, increasing all our core abilities. It gives +30 to 40% all resistances, greatly boosting these. A +40 is not a must and will depend on the rest of your gear. You can start off with a non-perfect one and see how you stand once your build is finished. And lastly, it gives +15% max mana, which is great for increasing our mana pool. For shields, there are 2 options. The first is the Spirit Runeword. Spirit is a must for this build as it provides a massive increase to FCR. Depending on the rest of your gear, you will probably need to find a perfect 35% FCR one to achieve the 125% mark. The other option is the Herald of Zakarum unique. If you can't reach the 125% mark or want to run a 75% FCR build, then this shield will give you +2 to all paladin skills and +2 to combat skills, greatly increasing your damage. Do note that even if you do more damage per hammer, your DPS will be lower than a 125% FCR build. For armor, you'll want to use the Enigma Runeword. This is the most expensive item of the build. The teleport skill allows you to position exactly where the hammer will damage enemies as soon as they spawn. Using this skill, your clear speed will be greatly increased as enemies won't move all over the place while you engage them. Enigma also provides you a huge boost to survivability and gives us even more damage and magic find. For gloves, you want to use the Mage Fist unique. These gloves are a must as they increase our FCR by 20%. For belt, you want to use the Arachnid Mesh Belt, which is a unique. This belt provides us a flat +20% FCR and +1 to all skills, increasing our damage output. The additional mana is also great for our build. When it comes to boots, you have a few different options. The first one is Hotspur unique. If you're running Chaos Sanctuary, then these boots will greatly increase your survival chances. The +15% maximum fire resistance will allow you to tank fire enemies without issues. The second option is War Traveler unique. If you're comfortable with your build's efficiency and want to maximize magic find, these are perfect for you. And lastly, Sandstorm Trek unique. If you want to increase your survivability but you're not running Chaos Sanctuary, then the +20% faster hit recovery of these boots can be a great option. For rings, you have 2 different options. The first is more survivability by using 2 times Bull Kathos Wedding Band to increase your life, and the other option is more mana, which is 2 times Stone of Jordan to increase your mana. I personally prefer the Bull Kathos Wedding Band as the mana issues can easily be resolved by equipping an Insight Runeword on your Mercenary. Remember that you can also equip rings with FCR here if you're falling short to achieve the 125% mark, as the effect of not having Bull Kathos or Stone of Jordan will not be too noticeable. For amulet, you have 2 options. The first is a crafted amulet. Here you want to find +2 to paladin skills and then +10% FCR. These types of amulets are very expensive, so if you can't afford them, just go for Amara's Kaleidoscope unique or a +2 paladin skills and look for any other stat that you might be missing. The other option is Mara's Kaleidoscope. This amulet provides +2 to all skills as well as +20 to 30 to all resistances and +5 to all attributes. For charms, you'll mainly want to look for life, mana, and combat skills. When it comes to Mercenaries, you want to get the Act 2 Holy Freeze Mercenary from Act 2 Nightmare for this build. The Holy Freeze Aura is great for dealing with large crowds of enemies. When it comes to equipment, you'll want to get an Insight Runeword for the weapon, a Fortitude Runeword for the armor, and Andari's Visage for the helmet. The Insight Runeword provides level 17 Meditation Aura, greatly increasing your mana recovery rate. Using this will allow you to clear your ring slots for either Bull Kathos or FCR rings. Final tips. Your Blessed Hammer will always spawn on top of your left shoulder. For this reason, it's best to teleport below enemies so that they are hit as soon as you cast the spell. I personally like to run my belt with 3 healing potion columns and 1 mana potion column, but 2 healing and 2 mana potion is a great option as well. You shouldn't need too many mana potions if set up properly. Your Mercenary gets the full effect of the Concentration Aura, allowing him to hit really hard. If you encounter a magic-resistant enemy, you can let your Mercenary get rid of it. Remember to walk for maximum block chance. You'll be teleporting around the map, so you might forget to hit the walk button. This is very important to stay alive as your block is reduced to 1/3 while running. This build is intended for PvE, but it can also be effective in PvP. Make sure to keep moving and don't spam too many Blessed Hammers at once. Stay tuned for more Diablo 2 build guides, and be sure to check out our Diablo 2 Resurrected Wiki for more information about the game. What did you guys think of our Hammerdin build guide? Are you guys using a Hammerdin? What builds are you guys running? Let us know in the comments below.